right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ivylaw Offices Weekly Live YouTube. I am Wilberforce Agicum, attorney at Ivylaw Office, and I am with.
My name is Attorney Jumoke Oladapo, the managing attorney at Ivylaw Law Office. Welcome to today's episode.
Hey, thank you. So today we're going to talk briefly about the fiance visas. Those U.S. citizens who are interested in marrying somebody in a foreign country and want them to come here to make that marriage possible. So briefly about it, and then Attorney Jumoke will expand on some of the information on that for you. So the K-1 non-immigrant visa, also known as the fiance visa, in order to obtain the K-1 visa, you and your fiance must intend to marry each other within 90 days of your fiance entering the U.S. as a K-1 non-immigrant. 90 days, keep that in mind. You must get married within that time, meaning both you and your fiance have a bona fide intent to establish a life together, and the marriage is not for the sole purpose of obtaining an immigration benefit. So the key words there is bona fide marriage. So that would be the criteria that the USCIS is going to look for. Okay, so now let's get into the hows and the process and all that good stuff. So, Attorney Jumoke, what are the eligibility requirements for one to receive a fiance visa?
Thank you, Attorney Will. We see a lot of clients and people interested in this process, as you said, and to be eligible to apply for a fiance visa, that means the petitioner first has to be a United States citizen, either by birth or by naturalization. Also, you have to have the intention to marry your fiance within 90 days of the fiance coming into the United States. And importantly, both of you have to be legally free to get married to each other. That means you're either single and unmarried, both of you are single and unmarried, or properly divorced, or the marriage that you had before was properly and legally terminated. So each of you must be legally free to marry each other before you can apply for the fiance visa. In addition to that, the law requires that both of you should have met face-to-face within 2 years of applying for this petition. So it's not about, I met on Facebook, but you've not seen each other personally. So if it takes you traveling to meet physically, you have to do that. And that has to be recorded and supporting documents submitted. This has to be done within 2 years of filing the application. If there's, however, an exception to the rule, if your culture does not support this, or if it's going to violate the strict and long-standing established custom of the fiance's foreign culture, then you'll have to apply for an exception to physically at least once meeting each other before filing. Also, if meeting each other before filing is going to pose an extreme hardship to the U.S. citizen petitioner, then that's also an exception to that rule. So majority of the cases, it's on a general rule that you have to meet each other, but bear in mind that there may be exceptions. Those are the criteria.
Excellent. Okay, so now we have the eligibility criteria. What is the process for bringing a fiance to the United States?
All righty. So it's in 2 stages, I'll say. You have to file a petition for fiancé, I-129F, with the USCIS ahead, and that petition needs to be approved by USCIS. So the US citizen files the petition with the USCIS and gets an approval. Once that is approved, then the foreign national files a petition, the S-160, with the embassy to get a visa. K visa is a non-immigrant visa, so you file that petition with, you file that visa application with the embassy, and you also attend the interview. If you're granted the visa, then you can come to the United States. You'll be inspected at the port of entry by Custom and Border Patrol. When you get to the, usually the visa is probably usually valid for about 4 months. So be aware of the period of time that the visa is granted to you, so that you are able to come to the United States within that short valid period of time. When you get to the United States, you have to get married. You have to have a marriage done to the petitioner within 90 days of coming to the United States. And this is a statutory requirement. If you miss the statute 90 days provision, it's difficult for you to adjust in the United States. So you want to do that. You want to make sure you get married within the 90 days of entry into the United States. And after you're married, you can file for adjustment of status in the United States to become a green card holder.
All right, thank you. So now you know the process. Okay, so Attorney Jumake, what about the children of the fiance? What happens with that?
So if you are a fiance or fiance that has children and your children are unmarried and under 21 years old, they can come with you to the United States. They can be part of the application, the visa petition, and come with you to the United States. They're categorized as K2 non-immigrant visas. And those children have to continue to be unmarried and under 21 by the time you're coming to the United States. Also, the children can come with you or later, probably within 6 months period of time, but they cannot come or travel to the United States before you. All right, and if the K2 children remain unmarried, they can be eligible for green card as well.
All right. Okay, so what about work, permission to work for the fiance?
All right, so usually when you get into the United States, you're stamped in eligible for 90 days. You may want to get a work authorization within that 90 days. Is it possible? Maybe, maybe not, because of the processing time of work authorizations nowadays. So, but I've seen few people make use of that short period of time to apply for work authorization. But once the 90 days is over, then that chapter is closed. However, you can apply for adjustment of status as soon as possible after you get married. And once you apply for adjustment of status, part of the benefits that you can apply for will be work authorization. So with the adjustment of status application, you can file for work authorization and get work authorization within a processing time. In this case, your fancy work authorization will be valid for 1 year or maybe extended in 1 year increments. If you file for adjustment of status and you're granted, then you become a lawful permanent resident.
Hey, that's fantastic. Okay, so obviously the 90-day requirement is strict. So what happens if there's a failure to get, oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. What happens if it's a failure to get married within that 90-day requirement?
All right, so if the 90 days expires, it cannot be extended, okay? And generally, the fiance, their children need to leave the United States at the end of the 90 days if they don't get married. I've seen situations where people come on K1 and unfortunately are not able to get married to the petitioner and they stay behind. If they stay behind, they cannot adjust status even if they get married to someone else who is a US citizen as a general rule. So if they do not depart, they're in violation of the US immigration law, and this may result also in deportation and could affect their future eligibility for US immigration benefits. And basically it's difficult to get a green card or adjust status if you stay back on K-1 visa. So my advice is this: if you are unable to get married to the I-129 petitioner within 90 days, travel back to your country and return separately on another type of visa some other day, so that you will have an opportunity to adjust status if you come back to the United States on another type of visa that is eligible.
All right. So that is, in a nutshell, the K-1 fiance visa process and eligibility requirements. To summarize briefly the steps, the first step is petition for the fiance. The second is to get the visa application, which is done at the consulate. Inspection of the port of entry will be third, and then your marriage is fourth, and then the fifth step will be the adjustment of status. So these are the steps that must be taken. Now, if you need assistance, please feel free to reach out to us at Ivylaw office, and we'll be happy to help you wherever you are and wherever your fiance is. And Attorney Jumoke is going to tell you how to get a hold of our law firm.
Yes, you're welcome for free consultations or paid consultations. We're looking for new clients. If you're a US citizen intending to get married, reach out to us. We'll be glad to help you. You can contact us by phone. Our phone number is 301-276-0887. We are on Facebook, Ivylaw Law Office. We're on Instagram. And also our website is www.ivylawoffice.com. We want you to like our video, share it, subscribe, and we'll look forward to being of assistance to you or your loved one. Thank you so much for watching today.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed rest of your day and week, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
All right.